When you focus on yourself, something extraordinary begins to happen. The noise around you loses its power. Most people live their lives reacting to the world, reacting to opinions, reacting to criticism, reacting to what others are doing. And when you live that way, you scatter your energy in every direction, but never move forward with power. Think about it. Have you ever tried to walk in a straight line while constantly looking at what's happening on the left and the right? You'll trip, you'll stumble, you'll lose balance. That's exactly what happens in life when your attention is on everybody else except yourself. But when you decide, even for a short season, to focus entirely on you, your habits, your growth, your discipline, suddenly your steps become clear, your vision becomes sharper, and you begin to walk in strength. Clarity is not found in chasing 100 things at once. Clarity is born in focus. Let me give you a daily life example. Imagine you are driving a car at night. The road is dark and the headlights only show you maybe 50 to 100 meters ahead. Now, you don't need to see the entire journey. You don't need to see every curve and every turn at once. You just need to keep your eyes on what is directly in front of you, and step by step, the road reveals itself. That's exactly how focus works. You don't need to know everything right now. You don't need to have it all figured out. You only need to focus on the next step, and the light will show you the way. That is the power of clarity. It doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from staying focused on the path before you. But here's the truth. Focus requires discipline. Because life will always give you options to look away, to be distracted, to compare yourself with others. Think about the time you're scrolling through your phone and you see someone posting their achievements, their vacations, their new purchase, their progress. Instantly, you feel the pressure of comparison. But listen carefully. When you compare yourself to others, you blur your own vision. You are not in competition with anyone but yourself. The person you need to be better than is not your neighbor, not your colleague, not your friend. It is the person you were yesterday. And when you shift your attention back to your own lane, you start to grow at your own speed. Every athlete understands this principle. Runners are trained never to look left or right during a race, because the moment you turn your head, you lose speed, you lose balance, and you lose momentum. Life is no different. If you keep looking at what others are doing, you slow yourself down. But when you lock your eyes on your lane, you conserve energy, you build speed, and you reach your destination faster. That is why focus is powerful. It creates clarity, and clarity creates speed. Let me bring this to something very practical. How many times have you started your day with a plan, but by the end of it, you felt exhausted and yet accomplished nothing? That's the cost of scattered focus. You gave your energy to too many directions, replying to every distraction, jumping from one task to another, worrying about things that don't matter. But imagine if you took that same energy and invested it in one meaningful task at a time. Imagine if you decided, today, I will dedicate 2 hours just to learning, just to building a skill, just to working on my vision. Do you know what would happen? In 1 week, you would be sharper. In 1 month, you would be further. In 1 year, you would be unrecognizable. That is the compounding power of focus. It multiplies the results of your effort because all of your energy is moving in one direction. And let's be honest, most people are not failing because they lack talent or potential. They are failing because they are distracted. They spend so much time observing others that they forget to observe themselves. But your real growth happens in self-observation. When you begin to ask, what are my habits? What am I feeding my mind? What is my time going? What is draining my energy? Suddenly, you start to see where your life is leaking and you begin to repair it. That's what focus does. It shines a light on the areas you need to strengthen. And once you strengthen them, everything else becomes easier. Think of a magnifying glass under the sun. The sun shines everywhere, but it is the same everywhere. It warms, but it does not burn. But when you take a magnifying glass and focus that sunlight on one spot, it becomes fire. That's the difference between scattered energy and focused energy. Scattered energy warms your life, but focused energy transforms it. The people who achieve greatness are not necessarily the most gifted, but they are the most focused. They decide what matters most, and they give themselves to it fully. So I challenge you today, take your power back. Stop wasting your focus on gossip, on comparison, on negativity, on things that do not serve your growth. Turn your energy inward. Invest in yourself, your mind, your body, your purpose. Because the truth is this, whatever you focus on expands. If you focus on fear, fear grows. If you focus on doubt, doubt grows. But if you focus on self-growth, clarity, and discipline, then your vision expands, your opportunities multiply, and your life elevates to another level. And here is the most beautiful part. When you focus on yourself, the world around you begins to respond. People respect discipline. Opportunities are drawn to clarity. Success follows focus. And you'll begin to notice that when you stop chasing everything, the right things begin to chase you. Silence is often misunderstood. Many people see silence as weakness, as if being quiet means you are powerless. But the truth is, silence is not weakness. It is one of the greatest strengths you can ever develop. Silence is strategy. Silence is wisdom. Silence is discipline. In silence, the deepest answers of life are revealed, the strongest decisions are born, and the greatest transformations take place. Think for a moment about nature. Have you ever noticed how the most powerful things in life work silently? The sun rises every morning without noise, yet its light wakes the entire world. Trees grow in complete silence, yet they become giants that provide shade, fruit, and oxygen for life. Even your heart, your most vital organ, beats silently inside you, and without it, you would not survive a moment. The lesson is clear. Silence does not mean absence. Silence often means presence, power, and stability. Now let us bring this closer to our daily lives. How often do we waste our energy trying to defend ourselves, trying to explain ourselves, or trying to prove our worth to others? Every time you answer unnecessary arguments, every time you react to criticism, every time you engage with negativity, you are scattering your strength. But when you stay silent, when you refuse to give energy to distractions, you are conserving power. You are choosing to direct that energy into your growth, into your goals, into your peace. Silence protects your energy. Imagine this. You are walking in a crowded marketplace. There are voices everywhere, people shouting, vendors selling, children laughing, conversations clashing. It is chaotic. You try to hear your own thoughts, but the noise drowns them out. That is what life feels like when you are constantly consumed by the opinions and judgments of others. But silence is like stepping out of that marketplace into a quiet garden. Suddenly, you can hear your own heartbeat. You can hear the whisper of your intuition. You can feel the peace of your spirit. That is the gift of silence. It allows you to connect with yourself, to hear the guidance that noise often hides. One of the greatest misunderstandings in society is that you must always respond. If someone criticizes you, respond. If someone doubts you, prove them wrong. If someone challenges you, fight back. But wisdom teaches the opposite. Sometimes the most powerful response is no response. Because silence cannot be misquoted, silence cannot be twisted, silence cannot be manipulated. When you choose silence, you are showing that you are in control of yourself. And that self-control is one of the rarest strengths in this noisy world. Let me give you a daily life example. Think about the workplace. Perhaps you've been in situations where a colleague provokes you, maybe even tries to humiliate you or take credit for your work. The natural human instinct is to react immediately, to raise your voice, to defend yourself. But silence teaches you something different. Instead of reacting in the heat of the moment, you remain calm. You let your work, your consistency, and your results speak louder than your words. And over time, people begin to see the truth. Your silence becomes your defense, and your discipline becomes your victory. Another example is in relationships. How many conflicts escalate because both sides refuse to remain silent? Everyone wants to be heard. Everyone wants to be right. And so the argument grows louder and louder. But what if one person decided to be silent? Not silent with bitterness, but silent with wisdom. That silence creates space for reflection. It cools the fire. It prevents words from being spoken that can never be taken back. Silence is not the absence of communication. It is often the beginning of deeper understanding. But silence is not only about what you don't say. It is also about what you do with that quiet space. In silence, you discover yourself. When you step away from noise, you begin to notice your patterns, your thoughts, your emotions. You begin to ask yourself real questions. Where am I going? What do I truly want? What habits are shaping my future? And in that silence, the answers reveal themselves. Some of the greatest leaders, thinkers, and visionaries in history took time away from noise because they understood this principle. Clarity is born in silence. Think about it. The strongest storms make the loudest noise, but they pass quickly. The calm sea may seem silent, but it holds depth, mystery, and power beyond imagination. The same is true for people. Those who make the most noise are often the weakest in discipline. But those who embrace silence carry strength that cannot be shaken. When you are silent, you become unshakable. People may talk about you, but you don't need to answer. People may doubt you, but you don't need to argue. Because your silence says, I am not moved by noise. I am focused on my purpose. I will let time and results speak for me. That is true power. So the next time you feel pressured to respond to negativity, remember this: silence is not surrender. Silence is strength. It is you saying, I know who I am, I know where I'm going, and I refuse to waste my power on distractions. And the beautiful thing is, when you live this way, you become a magnet for respect. People admire those who are not shaken by noise. Opportunities find those who carry themselves with calm authority. Silence builds your character and amplifies your influence. In the end, silence is not about being quiet for the sake of quietness. Silence is about building strength in stillness, clarity in calmness, and wisdom in restraint. When you learn to master silence, you learn to master yourself. And when you master yourself, there is nothing in the world that can master you. When your life is in alignment, everything begins to flow. Alignment means your thoughts, your actions, and your purpose are moving in the same direction. It means you are not divided inside yourself. You are not saying one thing, thinking another, and doing something completely different. Instead, there is unity in your being. And when that unity is present, opportunity begins to recognize you. Because opportunity is drawn not to confusion, but to clarity. Think about a musical instrument. When a guitar is out of tune, no matter how skilled the musician is, the sound will be unpleasant. But when it is aligned, when each string is tuned correctly, the same instrument produces music that can move the soul. Your life is the same way. When your actions are out of tune with your values, when your words are out of tune with your truth, your life feels chaotic. But when you bring everything into alignment, when your values, your decisions, and your habits are tuned to your purpose, your life produces harmony, and harmony attracts. Consider this daily example. If a person constantly says they want to be healthy, but their habits are aligned with unhealthy choices, junk food, no exercise, little sleep, opportunity for health will not find them. They may desire it, they may pray for it, but the misalignment blocks the outcome. On the other hand, when someone decides to align their choices with their goal, choosing better food, practicing discipline, sleeping on time, suddenly their energy increases, their body responds, and opportunities to live a healthier life begin to appear. Alignment always attracts results. The same applies in careers. Many people complain that opportunities never come to them. But ask yourself, are you aligned with the opportunity you seek? If you want promotion, are you aligning your skills with excellence? If you want recognition, are you aligning your work with consistency? If you want leadership, are you aligning your character with integrity? Too often, people chase opportunities without first aligning themselves with the standard that opportunity requires. But the truth is, you do not chase opportunities. Opportunities are drawn to the person who is prepared, disciplined, and aligned. Imagine a magnet. A magnet does not run around chasing pieces of metal. It simply holds its alignment, and by nature, the right objects are attracted to it. That's how life works when you are aligned. You don't need to beg for opportunities. You don't need to force yourself into doors. When you are aligned with your purpose, with your growth, with your values, the right doors begin to open naturally. People notice, resources appear, and timing becomes perfect. Not because you forced it, but because you prepared yourself to attract it. Let me bring this closer to something personal. Think about relationships. If you are aligned with your values, if you know what kind of person you are, what principles you stand for, and what direction you're heading, then the right relationships will naturally connect with you.